Diane DeWald with CreativeCatCrafts.com. Welcome back to my video channel, my YouTube channel. I know in my last video I said I was going to do this a little more often and that I was working on getting some digital items created. That takes a whole lot longer than I anticipated. Plus it's the middle of summer here in Indiana and we just moved into a new house in March, and all of the stuff that comes with a new home or new to you home is a little overwhelming. So I've spent most of the summer taking care of all of that. So here today, we're going to introduce my new Etsy store item that you can see right here. So let me get you a little closer. This is like take number 5. So let me see if I can get this right. Ooh, here we are. So I created this item, the individual elements throughout this item I did not create, but like the sky, the sand with the fence here, the beach umbrella, and the water, those are all separate elements that I have pulled together into this nice little picture. Let me see if I can move you out a little bit so you can see. There you go. So, and I thought adding this little pineapple glass of frozen drink in there on a hot summer day would be just perfect. This is my happy place where I would love to spend, especially my winter time. I don't know about you. But in creating this, I also was experimenting with a bunch of different cardstocks and found that depending on what you're utilizing or creating with this picture, you've got different cardstocks that are a little better for the project, at least in my experience, but these are my go-tos. I will have a link to all of these, and out of the, let's see, there's 7 of them, 6 of them are affiliate links where I'll get a small commission if you purchase through the link. There's no cost to you. It's just between me and mostly Amazon. The one on here that I don't have affiliate is this Cougar Smooth white, oh, and I spelled that wrong, white 100-pound cardstock. That is from Cut Cardstock. They're in Valparaiso, Indiana, a small family-owned business. And I have purchased several different cardstocks from them, and they are phenomenal to work with. I ordered this Cougar Smooth White, what was it, 3 days ago? And it showed up on my porch yesterday morning. So I was super excited. I had never used the Cougar Smooth White cardstock before, and it has a super smooth, soft finish. I just love printing on it. So as I go through this collection, I will notate which cardstock I use for which purpose and why, and then we'll go from there. We're also going to, I'll show you, like I said, how to use this, and at the end I will create 4 little note cards utilizing this design so that you can see them. So let me move out a little bit, and let me see if I can position this up here so that I can refer to it and then you can see it. We're going to use these items here shortly. So let me get this out of the way. Definitely out of the way. And here's the collection. So if you purchase from my Etsy store, you're going to receive a single page download, and there are 4 different files that you'll either click this button, or there'll be a link here that you can copy and paste into a browser and go ahead and download that. So, excuse me. So let's get into the collection. So the first, let me put this up here so that I can refer to that. The first item is an A2 folded card, and it's your, if you're a paper crafter and you design cards from a lot. I was previously a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. An A2 card size is typically what you would create. It is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and that's what this is. And you'll see these little lines here. There's cut lines and a score line and more cut lines down here. We're actually going to cut this out here in just a moment. And then for those of you that prefer, I printed this on the 120-pound Silvamo Accent Opaque cardstock. I think this is the, which is this? Premium Smooth is what they call it. So since this is going to be a folded card, I wanted a really heavy cardstock so that it would, you can hear it, nice and crisp and thick. Then for those of you that are liking the 5 by 7 inches, it also has the score and the cut lines. And when I printed this, I am printing without, let's see, with borders 100% size. So practice with your printer. And I'm just printing this on an Epson G620. It was a relatively inexpensive inkjet printer. And it's got, let's see, it's it's got six different ink bottles. It's a tank. It's one of the tank printers. I'll link it down below. But it was relatively inexpensive, and I got it from Amazon. So then, also printed on the 120. Oh, this was also printed on 120 Accent Opaque. This was Accent Opaque 120. These are postcards of the A2 size. So I wanted something that if you were going to mail this right on the back, I wanted you to be able to print this on very heavy cardstock. Then this is printed on the Accent Opaque Cover Smooth. This is 80 pound. And the reason I did that is because I cut these apart and I layer them on top of a card. Now my printer, my inkjet printer, prints what they call borderless, so there's no border on it. You can also print this file, same thing, but if your printer does not print borderless, it's perfectly fine having a border. We're going to cut this apart and I'll show you how to do that as well. So next thing I wanted to show you, let's do the cutting. Let's do the cutting. So if I'm going to, let's see, we'll cut. So let me clear this up. I'm going to pause you for just a minute and clean this space up and get it all set up for cutting. Okay, before we go through and do the cutting process, there were 3 items on here. The Epson presentation paper. I like the matte surface. I don't like the glossy. That's just a personal preference. They do have presentation paper, which is a glossy. And then I printed on 2 different watercolor papers, which gives it a really cool effect. And I just wanted to show you, let's see, here is the Epson matte presentation paper. And let me see if I can get, this is the cardstock. See, I think you can see the differences a little bit. This one just has a little deeper, richer color because it's a coated paper versus an uncoated. The coated paper, it sits, I think the ink, I think how they explain it is the ink sits on the top of the paper. It doesn't smear, so this doesn't smudge or smear. It just takes a little bit longer for drying time. And then the cardstock, the ink actually sinks down into the paper fibers itself. So I really like this effect. It's nice for layering. And then here's the 2 watercolor cardstocks. And I don't think you're going to be able to see the effect or the texture of the paper. I know I can feel it. These are two of my favorite watercolor papers, and oh, I think you see a little bit there over here by my index finger. It's really hard to get paper textures to show up on camera, but these are my two favorite because they add a little texture, but it doesn't detract from the image itself. So the Canson XL Water Pad, I really like that one. It's very popular. And the B Paper watercolor paper, and this is the Epson Matte. And like I said, I'll have that on the link down below. Those are through Amazon, and I had this folded wrong, so I just need my little score tool. So between the A2 and the A7, we're just going to cut out the A2 on camera. The A7 is just the same. I highly recommend scoring it first, and we're going to line up the score. And I'm using my score pad here, or tool. You can definitely do this on a self-healing cutting mat. Just making sure that gets a good score there. And we'll use this board here in a little bit. Here in a little bit. It's hard for you to hear me when I turn my back to the microphone, so sorry about that. So they've got cut lines. And what you want to, we're going to use this box cutter, and then on one of the other ones, I'm going to use my Stampin' Up! Paper trimmer. And if you've got a paper trimmer similar to this, but a different brand, it works the same. But this ruler, I don't know if you can see it, it does have a metal edge on it. And sorry for the light reflections there. So I'm going to line up that metal edge with the cut lines. And you don't want to start off the cardstock, you want to start in the cardstock. And this is thicker cardstock, so you really want to press. And you're just going to score that all the way down to the next card cut line. And I didn't quite get that through. This is really thick cardstock, so sometimes you need to do 2 cuts. There, see how it's still attached? And the reason for that is if you cut both sides off, you wouldn't know where to cut the top and the bottom. So we're going to do the same thing over here. Line this up with the cut line up here and the cut line down below. And do be careful. Make sure this is very sharp as well. I think I need to break the tip off on this because I've used it a lot and it's probably pretty dull. There, yeah, it is pretty dull. There. And line this up here on this. Make sure we get a straight cut across. And just like that. Make sure that went all the way through. See, it did. Turn it around. I'm turning the cardstock since this orientation gives me the best control at cutting, and that way the knife won't slip and cut across my hand or put me in any kind of danger. Retract that, and see, easy peasy. You can use that for scraps if you want, and then fold this over just like that. Line up a quarter, and I'm going to use my little score tool or burnishing and burnish that down. Get a nice crisp fold. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love that. Love, 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 love that. So before we go any further, actually no, we're going to do that step here in a little bit. But isn't that a really cool note card? Now, the This is the same concept. It's got your cut lines, your score line. I'm not going to take the time. I respect your time, and I don't want to take the time and do that on video. So I'm just going to move that one aside. And this one, we're done with this because everything else I'm going to use my paper trimmer. So on most paper trimmers that are like this, your cutting blade has a little line. I'll try to zoom you in all the way. So there is a little line. Let me see if I can get it this way. Will I get the camera to focus? You can see it right there. I can, there, right there, where I'm pointing with the little ball end of my scoring tool. There's a little line, and there's one on either side. So that's the line I want to line up with the cuts. And again, don't go through the entire cardstock at the top or the bottom. That way it stays inside. And I start that. I'm going to try not to get my head in the way. And, oh, my husband just got home and I need to zoom you out. So hang on one second. I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, my husband was over with his parents visiting for a couple days and just got home. So at where were we? Okay, so you don't want to start off the page, like I said. And I've got this lined up, and you just want to come all the way down past the image, but not to the edge of the page. Make sure. Okay, so just like that, it's cut. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Get this lined up in the center. Make sure the blade doesn't cut at the edge. And straight down, and you're going to turn it, and we're just going to go marching across the cardstock. We'll get that all set up, and at this point you actually could cut off the page just like that. Get that lined up in the center, just like that. And you've got your own little postcard. Move that down, put the top, center that, just like that. Off the edge. I'm going to turn this around. It's easier to hold on to. And there you go. You have your 2 postcards, A2 size. So let me clear off these scraps, and we'll deal with these 2. We'll start with the borderless, and my card size, the focal point is, and I did not, sorry for my arm in the way. So the focal layer is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8, and the mat is 4 by 5 1/4. So, hope you can read this. I should have printed it, I'm sorry. There, right there, smack in the middle. So the easiest thing, I like to do the sky, the full version of the sky, because I like to put the sentiments up at the top. If you wanted, you could do a sentiment strip down here or whatever right here. And I'll show that to you in just a moment. But cutting this, I start at 3 7/8. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to start with the borderless, and if your printer doesn't do borderless, I'll show you how to cut the other one here in just a moment. And I noticed I want to cut 1/8 of an inch off of each side. I think that's the best. And then 5 1/8 from one edge to the other. And there's your, actually, I cut it 1/4 inch off, so let me do another 1/8 here. The umbrella's kind of a little off center on that. And then 5 1/8 there. So there, the umbrella's much more in the center on that one. So 1/4 inch off either side. And then 5 1/8 and 5 1/8. And there are your 4 pieces. And you've got a nice little piece of sand that you can use on whatever you think up. Now, if your printer does not print borderless, it's going to print with approximately 1/4 inch around all sides. So what I recommend is line it up in your trimmer and just cut off that white. And if you get a little bit of the cloud, that's okay. And we're going to do the same thing. Focal point is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8 on the card I like to layer. See how you get a much smaller strip this time around. And because you've already cut 1/4 inch off, we're just going to go 5 1/8. Easy peasy. I find it's easier for this sheet of the 4 stacked images to print it with a border. And flip it around, 5 1/8, and there you go. There are your 4 images. So let me move this out of the way for just a moment. Clean up our little scraps here. And this is like what we cut out, the A2 card size. It's just a little note card. And just a reminder, I did that on the, 120 pound accent opaque. Let me take this off. I have all kinds of notifications coming since my husband just got home. And then if you're doing the card panel like this, the look changes depending on the color of your matting. So I'm using up my Stampin' Up! Cardstock, so I'm not going to link that down below. But this one, I forget what the name of this color is, but it just really matched this particular image. And then the black outline or matte just makes the image pop. And then this, I think, was the crumb cake. It kind of balances in with the sand and just gives it it's a different look. I like that. So I use a Misty stamping tool to stamp my greetings. Now you can also pre-stamp, and what we're going to show. I'm going to show you that here shortly. I've done that on the cards we're going to put together that's like this. And what I do, so here's just a couple other, there's a happy birthday, and you're my favorite person, hello sweet friend. And sometimes I'll pick out a sentiment, and let me, for this particular case, let me get you in really close. And first example is going to be this waffle flower. It's Elegant Sentiments. And I like how they package these up, because then I can just come in here and go, yeah, just at work, happy birthday, which you saw this a little while ago, or thinking of you, the perfect size. And then the thank yous I did, like this. That is from Alta New. It's their thank you builder, and it's got all these really cool thank yous. So I can figure out what works if I want something that's like really small, or put it down here, thank you, that works. Stack them. It's really nice when stamp sets are packaged like this. And also I'll put that down below. Then here's another one from Waffle Flowers. This is called Essential Celebrations. And you could do like birthday wishes right here in the middle or up here. Happy Mother's Day, welcome sweet baby. I don't know if that works for welcome sweet baby, but to each his own. Congratulations on your happy anniversary. Happy holidays now. Have an awesome birthday. We're actually going to use this one in the card we're making later. And then my favorite sets from Waffle Flowers is the Happy Birthday Sentiments. But unfortunately, this happy birthday is just way too big and overpowering. I love, 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 love this set. They've got a happy anniversary with sympathy, prayers. I forget what else they've got. I think there's a Merry Christmas that I've picked up. But I'll link those down below. And next we are going to create the cards. And let me pause you again and get this space all set up so we can easy peasy get into it. Okay, welcome back. I know for you it was just a blink of an eye. So on my scoreboard, and I taped that over because when I was Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I preferred to use this. But I can uncover that now. So this is my We Are scoreboard that I've used forever. And this is actually a Stampin' Up! Tool that I absolutely love and I am not getting rid of. So my cardstock that I am using, where's my little cheat sheet? I love the Nina Classic Crest cover, 110 pound, $2.97 for layering cards. And I will have a link down below. And yes, it is an affiliate link. Like I said earlier, I do get a small commission if you order it through Amazon using this particular link. I appreciate your support. It lets me bring things like this video as well as other videos to the YouTube channel, and I very much appreciate your support. So first thing I'm going to do, since we cut 4 focal points from one sheet, we need 4 different cards, and these are A2 card size. And I'm just going to take my card stock and my scoreboard, and I have lines drawn in 4 1/4 for doing the fold over, the landscape fold, or a portrait fold. So I like to be able to see that, and we're just going to draw that down. I like to score my cardstock before I cut it, and I'll show you why in just a moment. It's less steps, in my opinion. It is more efficient, and I drag this down a couple of times to break up that cardstock fiber. So we're done with this. And let me move my, yes, and I am using Stampin' Up's cutting tool. I've used it for 4 years, going on 5. and I want to use up my blades. And when I use up my blades, I will look for another trimmer, since I can no longer buy those as a demonstrator. So measuring it out to 5.5, and I'm just going to cut it down. Oops, get up there. Same thing on this one. 5.5. And if you've not done this before, you have in your scoring, you have a side that has a valley and a side that has a mountain. When you fold your cardstock, intuitively you want to fold towards with the valley up, and you want to fold this way, but that's actually not the way it goes. In order to keep from cracking the cardstock, you want to fold towards the mountain, because you've already got and stretched and broken the cardstock fibers over here. So that's the side you want on the outside of your fold. And then I'll link this as well down below. It's my little, it's not bone, it's a Teflon folder. I am just burnishing this down and making that a nice crisp fold so that the card lays flat, just like that. And I do both sides so that it really lays flat. Just down like that. Actually, I just need to do on one side on that. So those are your bases. You've got the focal, the base cut, and I didn't do the mats yet. So let me get the mat. And these are 4 by 5.25. This is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock. So I don't think I need to do, nope, I don't need to do that. So we are going to, on the 11-inch side, we're going to cut off 1 inch. Oops, nope. 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch. And then 1/2 inch. 1/2 inch on both sides. So then it's 4 the long way. And then on each side of this, it's 5.25. Perfect. You have 4.25 and 5.25. Easy peasy. So again, using up all of my Stampin' Up, and someday when I have less or need to replace this, I will give you links to those that I have found and replace this with. So easy peasy. Way I do this is before I let the glue strip touch, I'm going to try not to get my head in the way. Upper right hand corner and lower, as long as those show equal on both sides, perfect every single time. Let me get you closer on the next one. Okay, so I just do a little bit of glue here, or tape. I prefer the tape runner versus the glue. If I use glue, it's this Tombow glue, and I can get this through Amazon. I find that it sometimes will warp the cardstock, so here's this again. That's why I prefer the tape. So make sure I'm in shot. Upper right, lower left, and down. Perfectly matted on all sides. Sometimes I get them off. We'll just continue getting these together. I know you all have other places you would like to be. See, that one is a little off and crooked. Not perfect, but it's okay because that makes it handmade. It's okay if it's not perfect. That's what makes beautiful handmade cards. So, the imperfections in life. So now we're going to take our bases. So let me move it out just a little bit. You don't. Oh, there's my kitty. I closed the door so my husband could turn the TV on. So basically, same concept here. Tape all the way around, and just make sure you're putting it right side up. I remember one time I had a base upside down, and so the focal point was upside down. It's made for a very funny card. See? Easy peasy. I just like the black matting. It just makes your focal point pop a little more. And then let's see. Easy peasy. Look at that. Look how beautiful those are. Oops. Oh, she's really throwing a fit. Okay, and then I need some cubbies. These are my dimensional. Oops, one of them popped off. Get it before it sticks down. And I'm just going to stick a couple of these on each one of my happy birthdays and peel these off, and then decide. I think I want it up on the left hand corner. Those are really high. I just used these for the very first time. So we'll do the same thing. Yes, these are extra tall. I didn't realize that when I ordered the pack. And put all of those over there. I just love that. That gives it some nice dimension. Ah, static electricity. Oops. There. Okay, there we go. I know Sheena. She's like throwing a fit. So there we are. Easy peasy. Oops. I'm still getting used to this studio space. So easy peasy. Those cards, where's the other one? There, this one. Just, isn't that gorgeous? And voila. I appreciate your time today, and thank you for joining me. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, go ahead and click down below in the video and click the notification button to all, so that when I upload new videos, you'll be notified. I do appreciate your time, and there. I just love this beach scene. It makes for some very fun cards. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time, like I've said before, and have a wonderful day. Happy stamping.